Hey, what's up, all you well dwellers and anyone else that happens to see this video? A couple days ago, Travis Ryan from Cow Decapitation was bored and tired of some work going on his roof, so he decided to do a video going through his record collection. I thought it was a really cool idea. I haven't found a whole lot of stuff to review lately, so I thought I would totally rip it off and just kind of talk about some of the records I have and what I like about them, recommendations and things like that. So we'll just get started with the A's in alphabetical order. This is strictly the metal side of things, so you won't find anything too weird over here. So the first thing we have is the Aetherius album, Absentia. I'm going to pronounce all kinds of stuff wrong, especially when dealing with the tech death stuff. So this album, really cool color, has pretty much everything from Artist and Era is just as pretty to look at as it is to listen to. One of the things I really like about this album, you'll really dig the bass tone. The bass just slaps like crazy on this album. It's really, really cool. I feel like they're kind of one of the lesser known bands on Artist and Era. I think they are currently working on a new album. And honestly, I mean, if they keep going in the direction they went with this, it's going to be like amazing. So great album. The next album is something I'm sure all of you are very familiar with. Archspire, Relentless Mutation. This was like everyone's album of the year in 2017. I think it's still kind of the standard everyone talks about in tech death. It's just about as close to a perfect record as you can get. So if you like insane speed, technicality, this is your album right here. It has it all. Really, really, really cool. Let's see. Next up is one of my favorite records, another from the Artist and Era. This is Augury, Elusive Golden Age. I remember when it was announced that they signed to Artist, and I was super, super stoked about it because I'd just really liked what I'd heard from them. But this album, again, just really cool. Blew away all expectations I might have had. Definitely one of my favorites. Definitely one I think is underrated and not talked about nearly enough. If you have not got this album, definitely go grab it. It's unbelievably good. Next up, Arc by Agoraphobic Nosebleed. So this is an interesting album that it doesn't sound anything like Agoraphobic Nosebleed. If I understand it correctly, it's supposed to be some deal like each member was going to write all the music for an album. They were each going to put out an album. I don't know if it ever got past this album though. Kat, I know, did this, wrote the music for it. What it sounds like, this is 3 of the best, like, sludge metal songs you will ever hear. This is in every way up there with I Hate God and, things like, it's just unbelievable. Just really, really, really good. If you are a diehard Agoraphobic Nosebleed fan, you might not dig it, but if you're a sludge metal fan, this is going to be an album that you absolutely love. Next up, Abysmal Lord. So this is for when you are just really, really mad at everything. Some people might call it black metal. I think it's more along the war metal lines. This is from Hell's Headbangers, possibly my favorite distribution label, just for variety, and you can just find everything on there. This is just fast, brutal, relentless. Not really a lot of people out there doing it better than Abysmal Lord. So if you're really pissed off, this is your soundtrack. Next up, we'll get into some pretty shit. Alcest. So this is second to last album, Kodama. Really cool, really pretty. This album is full of the all that shit that they do a lot of. Very, black gaze. They invented that genre, I guess, and this is maybe the album where they show it the best. It's just really flawless, just one of those albums, really good to just throw in, and you kind of have to listen to it from beginning to end. It's so good. Next is another Alcest album. I actually got this at a show when I saw them, I believe. They had this and a couple others, and I didn't know a whole lot about this album when I got it. I just, knew I needed some vinyl of theirs, so I checked it out. Unfortunately, it was pretty warped, so it has a little trouble playing. I haven't listened to it a whole lot. What I have heard, though, of course, it's pretty much what you would expect from them. Next up is my favorite album from them, the Voyages de Liam. Again, I don't speak French, so, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Autre Temps, this first song, I don't care if it's overplayed or whatever, it is simply the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. The whole album, just amazing. This, even if you're not a fan of metal, is something, you just have to appreciate. Like, this album is just flawless. So good. Next up is something I have been waiting on for quite a while. I had pre-ordered it, and that is A Loathing Requiem, Psalms of Misanthropy. I'd had both Loathing Requiem CDs for quite a while, and it's really wanted them on vinyl. So basically what this is the solo project of Malcolm Pugh from Inferi. And with this bundle, he signed them all. Again, like, the Artisan era stuff is just really pretty and cool to look at. It's really interesting, like, a Loathing Requiem. I've always wanted to talk to him about how he, in the songwriting process, determines what's going to be an Inferi song and what's going to be a Loathing Requiem song. Because it is interesting, if you listen to both of them, like, you definitely hear differences in them, but they're both just so, like, epic and flawlessly good. It's a really cool album. The next one is the other album that was released. Same deal, signed. Alkalites Eternal. Again, just more of the best shit you'll ever hear as far as, when it comes to tech death. Really fast, intricate, angry. Like, it's got the picture of the Shreddy Bear right there on the back. Looking all tough and mean. Really cool stuff. So, definitely worth checking out. Even if maybe tech death isn't really your thing, I think you're just a fan of death metal. I think you really dig this. Has some cool guest performances on it. Mark Hawkins, Andy Thomas, and Hans Grossman. You probably know that name. That's a big name to be thrown around there. Next up, sadly, the only Amorphous album I have, the Carillion Isthmus. Picked this up a while back at the Record Farm in Logansport, Indiana. Just kind of one of those albums, like, I was flipping through and was surprised to see and said, okay, I'm going to grab that. Probably not my favorite album by them, but definitely, just an amazing album. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's really good, really cool. Again, so if it's a band you're not super familiar with, get familiar with them. They're good. This is an album. It's kind of weird. I saw it. I forget how many times. It's an Arsis album. I found it at Media Rerun in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Wasn't very much. I held off on buying it mostly because it's presented by Scion, the car company, and I seem to be really, really confused about why Toyota and Scion are messing with my tech death. So anyway, ended up picking it up one day. Says it's a promo album, so I don't know when or why or how this was given away, but doesn't disappoint. It's as cool as you would expect from them. So, if it's something you see laying around, grab it. Who gives a shit if it's by Toyota? Next up, an album I had heard a lot about, Artificial Brain. This is on Profound Lore, Infrared Horizon. This album is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me the first couple times I listened to it. It just sounded like complete unhinged chaos. Then it's one of those albums that, like, the more you listen to it, the more you're able to pick out the intricate parts and the structure and just everything about this album's killer. It's just so good. So good. Definitely one of my favorite records. Next up, a little fun ditty. AC. For all you PC people out there, this is, of course, Picnic of Love, the most beautiful love album you will ever hear. This was a record store day release. It has some cool etching. I don't know if I can get a good shot of it. You can kind of see it. There's little hearts all around it. It's on pink vinyl, of course. Just such a fun album. I don't remember the whole story about why they decided to do this. Besides, I think everyone was convinced that they were the most offensive, horrible people on earth, so they decided to do a album of nothing but love songs. I respect your feelings as a woman. I want to grow old with you. Saving ourselves for marriage. In my heart, there's a star named after you. Absolutely beautiful album. Next up is, of course, one of their most classic albums, Morbid Florist. This is, I don't know what even to say about it. It's anal cunt at their finest. As much as, I always point this out to people, as much as AC makes fun of absolutely everyone, they hate Chris Barnes and Extreme Noise Terror, and I think they like Kyle from Incantation because he has a mustache, but you'll notice that they do have a song called Morrissey. If I understand it correctly, it's because Seth Putnam had recently seen Morrissey live and was a fan of him. So that is how badass Morrissey is. That anal cunt can do a song and not make fun of him. Next up, I'm going to butcher this name, Orfaxel. I forget what exactly this is. It's, oh boy, it's a side project of something. I feel really dumb now for not remembering what it is. I haven't listened to it a whole lot. This was a deal I think I got from Hell's Headbangers. They do some package deals sometimes where you get like 5 albums for, $20 or something. want to say Decibel Omega, maybe has something to do with them. But one of the reasons I got it was just because I thought this was really cool. It has a screen printed back. That's really nice, really cool. One of the cooler ones that I've ever seen. So pretty neat. I like all the gimmicky vinyl stuff that they do, laser etchings, things like that. Next up, some more stuff from Artisan Era. This is the new Erroneous album. It was very much anticipated from their announcement to the release. Again, nothing ever disappoints with them. Really cool colors, of course. I'll call it like the watermelon. It's the watermelon album. Double album, just lots of great stuff on here. So definitely worth checking out. Just if you see that on there, just buy it. I mean, it's going to be good. There's no way around it. Next up is some older Archaic. Now, this is a Christmas present from my brother. Very appreciative of that. On a cool kind of blue and gray swirl. Again, some of that cosmic-y, techie death vibe stuff. So, really cool album. I believe they also have some new stuff coming out, which I'm really looking forward to. Next up, I think this was the first album I reviewed for Into the Wells. Atme, Methodic. This album, so good, so good. Their first album, Sewerborn, was just gnarly. So, you know, of course, when they have a new one coming out, you get really excited about it. And then it releases and it totally blows away any expectation that you might have had. Like, it is just so gross. It's gross and raw, but technical and just really enjoyable. Really enjoyable. Especially if you get tired of all the outer space stuff that most tech death bands seem to get stuck on. This is on I forget what they called this. They had a very clever name for it. That was something gross. So if you haven't got this album, definitely pick it up soon. It's really, really good. And that is going to, one more A. We're just going to stop at A. A band that I don't think really ever got as big as they probably should have. And that I personally really, really enjoy. This was from 2009, Ashbor. I don't even know what to say. If you like black metal, but you want something a little more atmospheric and different and out there and just really, really cool, like, this is it right here. Ashbor will do it for you. Really good stuff. So, don't quite remember where I was able to score. I might have just ordered this like off Discogs or something because I wanted it so bad. But really, really cool album. So definitely check it out. Okay, so that does it for the A's. Not a whole lot there. Tomorrow we'll get into the B's, and that is a big old chunk. C's a big old chunk. And then we get to, a couple things. You got to wonder why bands avoid certain letters, because you notice you don't have any of those letters in your collection. So thank you guys for watching. I really encourage you to do the same thing. Please make a video or just share some of your collection with us. This is one of my favorite ways to discover new music, and I love to hear about it, and I always love to see what people got, and especially cooler releases that might be a little different than the standard release that you find online or something. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you tomorrow.